And so recently, when we are seeing people interacting with ChatGPT, this is a much more that on steroids now.
Yeah.
It can now talk a lot more. And if we thought that was human, it's called the ELIZA effect, by the way, the tendency of humans to think of machines as human. That's still called the ELIZA effect in some circles. The ELIZA effect, if how much more profound is it with ChatGPT? Have you guys, you haven't used ChatGPT like that at all to talk about anything?
No.
You haven't tried that? I have myself because I wanted to explore what it's like.
Nice. And
Well, so as I was saying, firstly, empathy is great, but it pointed to the hazards of empathy without challenge. And that was the reason why there have been certain cases, as you know, where people attributed psychotic breaks and even suicide to
Correct.
their interaction with ChatGPT. Because what happens is if you have pre-existing ideas that are not okay, ChatGPT will start, sometimes there's a danger, perhaps often unless they've tweaked the code, to enhance that belief. A therapist will empathize where you are, but if they see you're not in touch with reality, they're not going to corroborate that and keep feeding that. So if someone comes with psychosis, let's say, and they say something like, you have a paranoid delusion, for example, which happens in certain illnesses where you think someone's out to get you or someone's trying to harm you, you talk to ChatGPT and you say, look, I think so-and-so, the world is out to get me, or so-and-so person. They'll say, oh, really? It's quite possible. And tell me more. And they'll say, well, I think they put a camera in my house and I'm being bugged and they can hear my thoughts. Now, at this point, any therapist, psychiatrist would know that someone is suffering from some illness, and we tread carefully. ChatGPT, in an effort to be empathic, will start feeding that slowly. It's a slippery slope. Initially it won't say that's true, but it will validate some parts of this. And so you co-create a belief system with ChatGPT where it can feed a delusion, feed a personality disorder, feed grandiosity in people who are suffering from certain illnesses which create grandiosity. And so while I don't think it can create psychosis in someone without vulnerability, someone who has a mental illness, who's isolated, whose main conversation in a world where it's become increasingly lonely anyway, is with the chatbot, it can be profoundly dangerous.
It can be dangerous.
Yeah. Also with young people who are vulnerable.
Yeah. Fully agree. It can be like extremely dangerous if someone's like already predisposed to a condition like that.
Correct. Exactly.
And ChatGPT sort of re-emphasizes.
Which is probably what happened in these cases.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
in the one where they used AI as therapist?
No, sort of. And when they talked about suicidality, ChatGPT actually started discussing ways in which that they probably sort of endorsed the idea that life is so hard, etc., etc. And here's the difference, right? No human being would do that because I'm sure no therapist would do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think any human being also would do that, really, most people, because you have empathy. And empathy means, ultimately, what is empathy? Empathy comes from the Latin empathos, which means to suffer with. That if I'm empathic, it's not pity, it's not sympathy.
Yeah.
It means I'm feeling your pain.
Yeah.
I feel your suffering. But the machine doesn't have feelings, so it can't suffer, It's not it was never born, it's never gonna die, it's never gonna have loss, it's never a victim to the same thing that every human being goes through. So when a human being empathizes, it means something different from when a machine, mimics empathy. So
yeah, I think my advice to people would be, for serious stuff like therapy, don't go to an AI tool. Just go to a therapist who you can build that trust and rapport with. That's my serious recommendation. But of course, AI is coming after most of the things out there, and the responsibility is on all of us to make the right kind of decisions for ourselves.
Correct.
Yeah, I think let's get to let's change gears a little bit, and something that's been on my mind, something that's like impacting pretty much everyone that we see around. I came across this term called nomophobia. Basically, anxiety of just going anywhere else without your phone.
No mobile phone phobia.
No mobile phone phobia. Basically. Like people are not able to go to a toilet without their phone. They feel anxious. They can't definitely go out for a walk without their mobile phone. The first thing that they do upon wake up is check for maybe WhatsApp messages or Instagram notifications or whatever. Like those things can wait, maybe another 1 or 2 hours, but the brain's wired like that.
Yeah.
What's the downside of this, in your opinion?
Of nomophobia?
Yes.
Is there an upside? No.
Well, it's life.
No, I'm just saying because I'll tell you what, this is also not new. Like in the olden days when mobile phone was not like the way it is right now, people would carry their newspapers to the toilet. And
Right.
right now they're carrying their phones. Maybe they're using their phones to consume news or whatever. But it's essentially the same thing. So not much has changed. It's just the medium, right?
Yeah, but the medium, as they say, is the message. Meaning, when the medium changes, it profoundly alters how we interact with it and how it shapes our identity. So, while the newspaper or the television, and every time some new technology comes, obviously, society goes nuts for a while, and people always will say, "Look, that technology is going to destroy society."
Yeah.
But society adapts to the new technology. The question is that adaptation ultimately healthy or not healthy?